Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Today's rundown is going out to our buddy Powder Keg, also known as Jared. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Jared, and thank you so much for picking up one of our EPN t-shirts. Can't wait to see the picture of you in that shirt. In the meantime, here's your rundown. Sony has offered a glimmer of hope to PS4 owners who want to play with their friends on other consoles. There's a small chance that cross-platform multiplayer might come to the PlayStation 4. When asked about it by Eurogamer, Sony Interactive Entertainment head Sean Layden says that they've heard the complaints from players, so they're looking at a lot of different possibilities and are confident that they can find a solution that satisfies their gaming community. That doesn't sound very committal, but at least it's not an outright rejection like what we've heard from them up until now. Sony has been notoriously reluctant to allow cross-platform support between the PS4 and other consoles, despite the fact that it's already possible from a technical standpoint. Games like Minecraft, Fortnite, and Rocket League already have cross-platform multiplayer between the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC, while the PS4 only supports cross-platform with the PC and not other consoles. We'll let you know what happens next. I mean, we are moving into a very interesting console generation here with the PlayStation 5 and whatever Xbox has got up its sleeve, and these things are going to be more account-driven and more sort of virtual in nature. And I think that we're going to be able to access this material in lots of different ways. Sony's already been able to allow you to access their PS4 library through your PC and your Mac, and Xbox has their Play Anywhere initiative. It just makes sense to kind of open up these accounts so that there can be some cross-platform multiplayer. And hopefully, Sony sees the light on this. You know, I know that they're trying to protect their business in multiple different ways here, but this just is goodwill for the gaming community, and I hope that they take the plunge and just do it. There will be a huge hurrah across the internet when they do that. All right, Disney has cleared another big hurdle in their quest to buy up 20th Century Fox. The U.S. Justice Department is set to approve Disney's massive $71 billion acquisition of Fox and their various subsidiary film and television studios, which is a necessary step for the acquisition to go forward. According to the financial publication Bloomberg, the only problem Disney ran into was with its various sports networks. Since Disney already owns ESPN, the Justice Department argued that buying up Fox and its sports channels would create an uncompetitive market and violate antitrust laws. So Disney has agreed to divest itself of 22 of their existing regional sports networks in order for the Fox acquisition to go through. Now that they have regulatory approval, the only thing left is for Fox shareholders to vote on the acquisition. That's expected to happen in the next 2 weeks. I would be shocked if Comcast comes through at the 11th hour, because there is still this sliver of an open door here for Comcast to come through. I've heard that, you know, it's all speculation right now, but I've heard that the Fox board and shareholders does not want Comcast to, you know, come in with a bigger deal. They want this Disney deal to go through, presumably because it makes, you know, this an entertainment juggernaut. There will be less hurdles to go through. I mean, this sounds like the last of the major judicial hurdles for this deal to be accomplished. It is, you know, moving into anti-competitive kind of territory here with all of these different brands. Disney just looks like this unstoppable monolithic force, you know, but I don't know, as a fan of these characters and of what Disney is able to do with their different brands through their theme parks and their licensing and the movie quality stuff and you know, their streaming services and their TV shows, I kind of trust the Disney brands a little bit more, but it does get a bit scary and nerve-wracking. I share some sentiments with how Star Wars has been handled here, with a lot of people that are a little bit down on it right now. And so I understand some concerns with this stuff, but I think they've done a really fantastic job with Marvel, and I believe that there's you know, a tremendous amount of respect for a lot of the good work that Fox has done with the Marvel properties there. So I don't believe they're going to completely just wipe everything out and start fresh all over the place. I think they're going to take a lot of at least the lessons learned from amazing movies like the Deadpool flicks and Logan and some of the X-Men movies as well. And I think we're going to get some solid titles in the Marvel Universe, and then, you know, it's going to be crazy to see Simpsons crossovers and all kinds of other stuff in there too. So I guess I'm kind of still rooting for Disney to do this, but yes, I've got some nervousness like a lot of you out there. The two biggest Battle Royale games are burying the hatchet or burying the frying pan. Battlegrounds developer Bluehole is ending their lawsuit against Fortnite creator Epic Games. Bluehole had launched a lawsuit in their home country of South Korea last month, alleging that Fortnite's Battle Royale component was a ripoff of Battlegrounds, but earlier this week they formally backed out. No reason for their sudden reversal has been made public, so it's unclear if Epic Games settled or if Bluehole decided that they didn't have a case, but we'll let you know if new details become public. It's worth pointing out that Bluehole and Epic actually have shared financial interests. Both companies are partially owned by Chinese conglomerate Tencent, and Battlegrounds was made with Epic's own Unreal Engine. A lengthy legal battle would have obviously soured their relationship. I mean, there was no other way for this thing to go. Of course, Bluehole saw the light here. There was no way that they were going to win when you just stack up the financial, capabilities of both parties to introduce legal arguments and stuff in here. But I feel like Bluehole, with all of this emerging competition that's happening in the Battle Royale space, just wouldn't have a lot of legal legs to stand on saying that they own the idea or the concept around this stuff. They really rocked the world with Battlegrounds, but the concept of Battle Royale predates what they did there. And, when you look at Fortnite and you look at PUBG, yes, there's some similarities, but they did a lot of aesthetic changes to the way that we are sort of thrown into the world of Fortnite. It is not the same game. There's some similar kinds of traits, but it is not the same game. And the video game industry is rife with all kinds of precedent of lots and lots of game creators borrowing good concepts and then making them their own. And I think that's precisely what the Epic Games team did. All right, the makers of The Binding of Isaac want to put players in a bind with a cool new spin-off. Isaac designer Ed McMillan has announced The Binding of Isaac 4 Souls, a new tabletop card game based on the hit top-down video game. It will combine elements of competitive and co-op tabletop games with players working together or betraying each other with the goal of taking on boss-style monsters to collect souls and win the game. It's designed to be played by 2 to 4 people, and there will be more than 300 cards featuring characters and monsters from the video game. At the time we're filming this, it's already raised more than $300,000 from its $66,000 goal on Kickstarter, so it will be hitting stores this winter. Meanwhile, the long-awaited Binding of Isaac spin-off video game, The Legend of Bumbo, is currently in development and is slated to hit Steam before the end of the year. The Legend of Bumbo is my vote for one of the best video game names of all time. I can't believe the legs and the legacy that The Binding of Isaac has crafted in the gaming world. I think it's phenomenal. I'm a big fan of the game, but also of Edmund McMillan, and it's great to see that this thing just continues to grow in stature and, concepts and ways in for people to play this thing. I'm not a huge tabletop guy. I'm not I don't sort of rally with all my friends to play D&D or card games or things like that, but I totally appreciate the value in that sort of community building experience and that relationship building experience. I think it's phenomenal, and congrats on the successful Kickstarter campaign already. I know that there's a lot of Isaac fans out there that are freaking out for this. Now, the original voice of Solid Snake is sneaking back in another new game. Konami has announced that David Hayter, who voiced Snake in all the Metal Gear Solid games, with the exception of Metal Gear Solid 5, will reprise the character in another Konami title, Super Bomberman R. The latest patch for the game adds several new characters, including Snake, complete with Hayter's raspy voice.
Kept you waiting, huh?
This follows Nintendo's recent announcement that Hayter will be voicing Snake in another super new game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so this could be just the start of a new trend. Hayter was replaced by 24-star Kiefer Sutherland in Metal Gear Solid 5, although many longtime fans weren't happy about it. I'm a big Kiefer Sutherland fan, but I did not like that at all. I don't like the way that it was handled. I thought that was pretty classless, and I'm obviously a tremendous fan and a friend of David Hayter, so I'm very happy to hear that he is slowly creeping back into the world of Metal Gear Solid. I don't think that Konami will let the Metal Gear Solid brand lie dormant for long. I believe that we will see a Metal Gear Solid 6 or maybe a remake of the first one. I believe that Hayter is going to be very busy as Solid Snake. Snake. The question is what kind of team is going to take up the mantle to butt up against the expectations that a Metal Gear game sort of brings with it, and how can a game development studio compare and compete with what Kojima Productions was able to do? There are lots of talented developers out there, and many that would like to be given the reins on this franchise. And I think this will be interesting, And I'm sure that Kojima, as much as the whole experience soured it for him, he loves Metal Gear and he loves Solid Snake. And I think even in his heart of hearts, he would like to see more new games come to fruition. It was not easy for him to build those games, and it was not easy for him and his team to build those games in the Konami environment. But that team crafted something really wonderful for the video game world, and it would be a shame if Metal Gear 5 was the very end of it. And who knows, man? The road is long, and creativity has lots of twists and turns, and sometimes these major publishers have whole regime changes that can create all kinds of new opportunity. Kojima and his new team may end up one day back, in control of Metal Gear Solid. Stranger things have happened. And of course, Kojima is still, I think, involved in the creation of the Metal Gear movie. Now, early looks at 2 of next year's biggest movies have come in. Speaking of movies, the first official photo of Kristen Wiig as Wonder Woman 1984 villain Barbara Minerva has been posted by director Patty Jenkins. Minerva, also known as Cheetah, is a superpowered femme fatale who takes on Wonder Woman after initially starting out as her friend. Wonder Woman 1984, as you might have guessed, is set in 1984 and as such has a retro 80s aesthetic. It's currently filming and will arrive in November 2019. If you're looking for more retro nostalgia, the first official photo of Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio in the new Quentin Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has emerged. As you can see, they look right out of the late 1960s and are playing an actor and stuntman out to make a name for themselves. That film lands in August 2019. Looking like it's going to be a pretty huge year for movies next year. I can't wait for both of those. And of course, we're going to get Episode 9 from the Star Wars universe as well. And I think we are all fascinated to see what J.J. Abrams does with that. All right, that's going to wrap us up for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we have tons of other content for you to peruse. If you dig our stuff, don't forget to hit subscribe, that little bell. If you're so inclined, that sponsorship button. And don't forget, play forever.